Now let's look at one of the greatest hostage rescue operations in all of history. It was carried out by the Israelis in 1976. The operation is called Operation Jonathan. It's named after Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Netanyahu. And if that name sounds familiar, that's because he's the older brother of the current Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, what happened in 1976 is that Arab terrorists and some German terrorists hijacked an Air France Boeing aircraft, an Air France Airbus aircraft in Europe, and they flew it all the way down to Africa. And they landed at a place called Entebbe, which is in Uganda. And it's right down here. This is where Israel is. And this happened in 1976. The Airbus was parked here in Entebbe airport while the terrorists began negotiating with the Israeli government. Israel launched one of the greatest special forces operations in all of history. They launched 4 C-130 aircraft which flew secretly all the way from Israel down the Red Sea and landed in Entebbe. Over 100 commandos in 4 C-130 transport aircraft landed quietly in the middle of the night at Entebbe airport. They had a firefight with the Ugandan forces and of course the terrorists. They neutralized all the terrorists. There were over 100 Israeli hostages who were kept by the terrorists. The Sayeret Matkal commandos engaged the terrorists. They freed all the hostages. They put them onto planes and flew back with them. Now, important to understand is that Israel is over 4,000 kilometers away from Uganda, which is here, right down there in East Africa. Those 4 Israeli aircraft, they flew all the way through the Red Sea, landed there, fought with the terrorists, rescued all these hostages, put them onto the planes, and then flew back with them across back home. Another journey of 4,000 kilometers. And before they flew back with them, they destroyed nearly 1/4 of the Ugandan Air Force on the ground. All the fighter aircraft of the Ugandan Air Force that were parked on the ground were destroyed by the Israelis, who had got these recoilless rifles on jeeps, destroyed them so that these aircraft would not follow them. So, I mean, you look at the distance that the Israeli forces traveled, all the way, 4,000 kilometers down to Africa, in the dead of the night, quietly flying over the sea, not letting other countries know, landing there quietly, engaging the terrorists, rescuing them, and then flying back home with them. This happened in May of 1976. And, that happened in July of 1976. And this remains the gold standard in special forces operations. Never has a mission been undertaken with such extreme danger, where so many commandos have flown such a long distance, gone all the way, rescued hostages and flown back successfully. Unfortunately, the only casualty in that operation was Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Netanyahu, who was the commander of that mission. He was killed while he was trying to rescue the hostages, and this operation was named Operation Jonathan in his memory. Now this is, again, like I said, the gold standard in special forces operations. Other countries have tried to replicate them, but they've failed. The Americans tried to do something very similar in Iran a few years later, but that operation ended in disaster. The helicopters crashed. The special forces operators who went in had to be rescued. People died in that because the Israelis had practiced this. They kept this simple and they rehearsed this operation. They kept it as simple as possible. They exercised in utter secrecy. They made a plan that could be easily implemented, quickly, rehearsed, and they kept it secret, and they went over and over it, and then finally they went hell for leather. They did this, and they won the day. The greatest special forces raid, rescue in all of history.